Hi, I'm Tony Joe, and I've been a realtor in Victoria, British Columbia for more than 25 years. I'm joining you today from British Columbia Real Estate Association's offices in downtown Vancouver. BCREA is the voice of BC's realtors, providing advocacy, ongoing education, economics analysis, and standard legal forms. Today, we're here for the first in a series of conversations on cannabis, a three-part web series brought to you by BCREA to help consumers, realtors, and other real estate professionals get a better understanding of the risks of growing cannabis at home. I'm joined today by Dustan Woodhouse, strategic consultant with Dominion Lending Centers. Dustan, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I can't match 25 years in the business, but I've been in the business for 11 years as a mortgage broker, specifically, so on the finance side. And I've processed to date 1,684 transactions, so that's probably about 100 years worth of mortgage finance experience at this point.
And you provide training for mortgage brokers as well too?
I've been going coast to coast actually for the last couple of years, doing a lot of training with, well at this point, thousands of mortgage brokers and agents across Canada.
Great. So this is a really hot topic, cannabis. So Dustan, when you learned about the legislation to legalize cannabis, what were your first reactions as a mortgage broker?
Well, I wasn't super excited because I didn't think that suddenly meant that lenders were going to open the floodgates and start lending to properties that had plants grown in them previously.
So Canada is now the largest marijuana marketplace in the world. As growing at home might become more common, can you explain how insurance and mortgage professionals are evaluating properties for risk?
Well, as I say, ultimately lenders don't like any kind of risk. It's always about mitigating risk. And so whether it's legal or illegal, I think we're going to continue to see lenders put their own stigma on these properties. So either way, it's going to be an uphill battle to get financing on a property that is known to have marijuana plants growing in it.
Got it. Obviously, lending to what is potentially a past grow-up or a future grow-up is not a business case for lenders. Why would a lender not want to lend on such a property?
Well, I think their number one concern is the risk of mold. And in the event that there were some kind of health issue, and in the event that the owners of the home wanted to blame someone, which when bad things happen in human beings' lives, we tend to like to look for somebody to assign blame to. My experience, limited, luckily as it's been in lawsuits, is everybody gets named. Everybody. And who's got the biggest insurance policy and who's got the deepest pockets, they're usually the ones that are getting hit the hardest as well. So I think lenders just, that little bit of risk that something could go wrong could cost them a significant amount of money. And when you really, if you think about the numbers, I mean, the overall percentage of properties that we're talking about right now, it's likely less than 1%. So for the lenders, they're giving up 1% of the market, and that 1%, the risk could absolutely outsize the damage to them. So I think they just want to stay away from that.
I guess it goes without saying that they would just much rather lend on a traditional home that doesn't have issues.
That's right. Yeah, keep it simple.
All right. So when a realtor has a seller who wants to sell their home that was a grow-up, what do they need to have that seller do relative to mortgaging or financing?
Well, I'd say whether that grow-up was previously illegal or currently legal, either way, the best thing that realtor can do is refer that client to a mortgage broker to have a conversation about what the financing is going to look like, because potentially it is going to negatively impact the price, and the realtor may be getting some pushback on trying to list it at a certain price, and so the mortgage broker in that case can help articulate to the client, here are the reasons why the property has to be priced a little bit lower. And again, if that property was purchased 10, 15 years ago, when there really wasn't that much of a challenge around the financing, the houses back then, they were still selling a little bit below average price, but not a lot below. Whereas today, it's a much deeper. And actually, there's another point worth sharing. I mean, lenders have access to the notes. So there's a couple different things lenders do. They have access to the MLS notes, so they can see previous listings. They also actually Google property addresses.
Oh, sure.
And they Google people's names. Yeah. Like my clients, I Google my clients, not because I want to creep their lives, because I know the lenders are actually going to Google them. Yeah. So KYC, as we say in the business, right? Know your client.
So Dustan, can you explain how lenders are adjusting financing policies to reflect the cannabis legislation?
Absolutely. They're not.
Okay. Just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's some new mortgage product opening up for the grow at home borrower. That's not a thing.
All right.
I mean, they don't like cannabis growing in a property at this point. They're not open to it.
Yeah. I can't imagine seeing that change.
It's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
You know, the trend that we've seen for years is more restrictive lending policies, not less restrictive. So
yes. So for somebody who's not thinking of buying or selling right now, just a regular consumer that lives in their home and maybe wants to grow some cannabis in their home, from a mortgage broker standpoint, what advice would you give them?
Don't. Honestly, if your house doesn't currently have that stigma of having had plants growing in it, that's a wonderful thing. And I think right now it's a little bit too risky in the lending world to start growing plants in your home, because you could take 20%, 30% of the value off your home. So really, to try and save a few dollars growing your own at home, those
it makes more sense just to go and buy it because it's legal now.
Yeah, I mean, there could be a $100,000 joint that you're smoking, right?
Okay. Dustan, how could growing at home impact a homeowner's chance of getting a mortgage or remortgaging?
I would suggest there's a high chance that it will impact their odds negatively. You know, if the home was not previously stigmatized as a grow-op property, I believe that those clients are potentially applying a stigma to their own property by growing marijuana plants in that home. So my advice would be don't do it.
Mm-hmm. So if the government was more clear or gave more guidelines on this topic here, do you think lenders would be more comfortable?
I would suspect not. We have CMHC, Canada Housing and Mortgage Corporation, that backstops, they basically guarantee mortgages for the lender. In other words, they take the risk on. Mm-hmm. So arguably the lender has no risk in a CMHC insured mortgage, yet CMHC guidelines are generally far more liberal than what most lenders will apply. So CMHC may have, say, 20 guidelines, and they say we will lend to these parameters. And the lenders say, well, those 20 are fine, but we're actually only going to use these 15. We're actually not going to apply these 5. We're going to be a little more restrictive. Mm-hmm. So you still run into the issue of, even if the government says, hey, this is okay, we approve of X, the lenders don't have to approve of it. They can still say, well, we don't want to put our money.
Change the goalpost.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So where can our viewers turn to for more resources about risks related to both cannabis cultivation and mortgageability?
I think ultimately it comes down to the active realtor and the active mortgage broker who are processing transactions right now. I mean, that's who they want to talk to. Whose signs are popping up in their neighborhood? Mm-hmm. You know, who do they know that's in the business, either on the mortgage side or the realtor side? That's who they should go to.
So, Dustan, if somebody is interested in buying a house that they know was a grow-up and has been disclosed as having been a grow-up, the price looks great, what are the potential future ramifications that they will be dealing with?
Well, that great deal they're getting today is probably going to have to be a great deal tomorrow when they go to
the next person.
Exactly. Like, yeah. No one truly benefits from this. They may get more house for the dollars they have to spend, but ultimately they're going to be giving that property away at a similar discount, or, as people over the last 10 to 15 years have experienced, a deeper discount, because there have been far fewer lenders available over time to lend on these properties. And so the more restrictive it is to get the money to buy the property, the fewer the buyers.
So Dustan, wrapping up here, what are the things that our viewers should be considering based on our conversation here?
I think number one is, do you really want to have to disclose this? Mm-hmm. So I think until we have a little bit clearer understanding of just what the impacts are going to be, I wouldn't start planting those seeds in my basement just yet.
So Dustan, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tony. I appreciate it.
And thank you, the viewer, for watching this BCREA conversation on cannabis. Stay tuned for more.